Hello and welcome to Library Storytime. Our first story today is Mr. Fuzzbuster Knows He's the Favorite. This is Mr. Fuzzbuster. Doesn't he look like he thinks he's just all that? Mr. Fuzzbuster knew he was Lily's favorite. They'd been together since he fit in a teacup and she fit in diapers. Ever since she was a baby then. They did everything together. Naps, art and crafts, story time, dress up, walks, meals, and more naps. But now 4 more animals lived in the house, and they had other ideas. I'm her favorite, bubbled Fishy Face. No, it is I who am the favorite, hissed King. Bless your heart, I'm that sweet girl's favorite, squawked Feathers. Favorite, barked Bruiser. I think that's too many pets in the house myself.
Mom would never let a parrot in the house.
Yeah.
My dear roommates, Mr. Fuzzbuster interrupted. Perhaps you forgot the official document. The picture was old, slightly torn, and smelled funny, but it was still absolutely true, and Mr. Fuzzbuster was going to prove it. In his best paw writing, he wrote a note. Dear Lily, who is your favorite? Please decide.
I bet you it's Miss Fuzzbuster.
When Lily read it, she giggled. This is an easy question. Mr. Fuzzbuster purred. Yes, easy and quick. But Lily walked past him. What? Hi, Fishy Face, Lily said. The fish swam in dizzying circles. Mr. Fuzzbuster could swim like that too, if swimming didn't involve getting wet. Fishy Face, you are my favorite. You are my favorite. Goldfish. Mr. Fuzzbuster smiled secretly. Of course Fishy Face wasn't the favorite. But being the oldest and wisest, Mr. Fuzzbuster knew it was his responsibility to make the goldfish feel better. Cheer up. You may not be the favorite, but you're as quiet as a cat. That's why I have not once considered eating you, and I'm a big fan of seafood. Lily walked past Mr. Fuzzbuster again. Hello, Feathers, squawked. Mr. Fuzzbuster couldn't squawk if he wanted to. Feathers, Lily said, you are my favorite. What's she going to say? You are my favorite bird. Mr. Fuzzbuster felt sorry for the bird. There, Feathers. You sing almost as nicely as I yowl. And you're a fine roommate. That's why I've not once considered eating you. Well, cats do eat birds, and they do eat fish, don't they? Then Lily went to King's tank. Greetings, Your Highness, she curtsied. May I offer you some bugs for a snack? Mr. Fuzzbuster would eat a bug, but only for Lily. King, you are my favorite. Lizard! Mr. Fuzzbuster patted King with his paw. Poor King. Don't take it too hard. You climb almost as well as a cat, and I've never, ever, not even once thought about eating you. Just one more to go before Lily told them he was her favorite. Mr. Fuzzbuster didn't mind waiting. Everyone knew you always save the best for last. Where are you, Mr. Fuzzbuster? Lily called. Where's my kitty? There you are, Mr. Fuzzbuster. You are my favorite. It was him. He was the favorite, Lily's favorite. He knew it. Look, he's got fireworks going everywhere. He just knew it. Cat. You knew, didn't you? That meant, what does that mean?
Was gonna do that.
Mr. Fuzzbuster would not stay where he was not wanted. He packed up all his things except for the picture. He sure has a bad attitude, doesn't he? He was he was almost out the door when he heard Lily. Bruiser, she said, you are my favorite. Doggy! Huh? Not Fishy Face? Not Feathers? Not King? Not Bruiser? Not him? It didn't make sense. She had to have a favorite. Mr. Fuzzbuster had a favorite. Who do you think his favorite is?
Lily?
His favorite was the one he reminded to open his cans of food. The one he encouraged to put his belly to pet his belly by purring loudly. The one who always lost when they played catch the string. That looks like fun. And the one who said she had a favorite goldfish, bird, lizard, dog, and cat. Mr. Fuzzbuster shredded the first note he'd written to Lily about favorites. Then he wrote a new one. See what it says? Lily is our favorite. They all agreed. That's pretty good. We can have lots of favorites, can't we, boys and girls? And we can turn a page. There we go. Good night, my favorite goldfish. Good night, my favorite bird. Good night, my favorite lizard. Good night, my favorite dog. Good night, Mr. Fuzzbuster, my favorite cat. Then Lily crawled into bed and hugged her doll. And good night, Cora Belle, Lily yawned. My favorite.
Doll.
She's snoring. And look at Mr. Fuzzbuster.
Oh, no.
Oh, she didn't say my favorite doll. She just said my favorite and went to sleep. All right, Miss Lisa has another good story for us.
All right, this story is called Winston the Book Wolf. If you pay attention to the book itself, look what happened. Oh, somebody ate the cover. Should we do that to books? No. But this wolf looks like he is just chomping down. I don't know why he's eating books. We'll have to find out. So this is called Winston the Book Wolf. Winston the Wolf switched his tail as he ran past the burger stand. He did slow down to sniff, but he did not drool. Looky there. Look at all those burgers. If you really like something, you'll start to drool, won't you? And so he's like, that smells really good, but he's not drool. Meaty treats were not what Winston had in mind. Winston wanted books, and he knew where to find them. Where do you go to find books? Library. He marched up to the library steps, and he saw a handwritten sign. No wolves allowed. Words, he exclaimed, yum, yum. And so he snatched the sign and he ate it right up. He's just going to eat that sign up. Winston opened the door, but an angry librarian stood in his way. You, Mr. Wolf, may not come in. The sign on the door says, no wolves allowed. Winston bared his teeth. I ate your silly sign, he growled. Now step aside. The librarian rang her bell. He's back, she cried. That wicked wolf who chews on books. She is not happy he is back at her library. Library helpers came running. Winston tried to dodge them, but soon everyone was chasing poor Winston the wolf. Winston leaped over the computers, hopped over the tables and chairs. Soon he would be trapped. Oh, look, who's helping him out here? But then a girl named Rosie appeared. Quick, she said, follow me. Rosie showed Winston a secret door. I think it's funny that everything has eyes. They're all watching him as they run through the library. And this is Rosie, but it sort of looks like who? What's our fairy tale person who dresses in red? Little Red Riding Hood, right? And she's got her little basket.
I don't remember the name.
Yeah. She led him through an alley, then under a bridge and over a hill. Do you see something else that's sort of a nursery rhyme? See the cow jumping over the moon? When at last the two of them stopped, Rosie demanded the truth. Why do you nibble on books? Why are you asking for trouble, Mr. Wolf? Isn't it obvious? Can't you guess? Asked Winston. Words are so delicious. Why, words taste better than roasted skunk. I would agree there. And even better than gopher stew. Wolf, said Rosie, you must break this terrible habit. You must never, never, never nibble on books again. Never. Winston began to howl. I'll starve, he wailed. I'll die without words. Poor Winston. Rosie just laughed. Be quiet, Wolf, and listen to me. You do not have to chew on books to taste the wonderful words inside. Words taste even better when you eat them with your eyes. Do we eat with our eyes? Winston squinted at Rosie. Is this a trick? Can this be true? Trust me, said Rosie. Sit down. You and I are going to have some lessons. How do we eat with our eyes? See, I think that's what everybody else is doing, right? It's called reading. So each afternoon, Rosie read the stories to Winston. She taught him to sound out the words. Winston caught on fast. He learned to eat words with his eyes, which is to say, he learned how to read. Yep. The hungry wolf ate all sorts of words, sweet, juicy words like sunset and swoosh and rambunctious. He wolfed down words like trickle, icicle, pickle. To him, they tasted like clean spring rain. His favorite words rhymed with crunch, punch, munch, lunch. Those were his favorite. Winston read Rosie's books until he knew them all by heart. And then Winston said to Rosie, I must have a new stack of library books. Rosie sighed. Oh, why try it again? You know they will block the door. The door says, no wolves allowed. And that means you. Well, I'm never going to give up on books, he declared. Never. Then Winston smiled. Do you suppose your grandmother's clothes might fit a wolf? Rosie scratched her head. My grandmother's clothes? Trust me, said Winston. I have a plan. What is he going to do? On Saturday morning at 9:45, take a look. Winston and Rosie walked to town. Winston wore a frilly rose print dress with ruffled lace at the neck. The skirt almost hid Winston's bushy tail. And his floppy hat that disguised his pointy ears. Perched on Winston's loud snout were Grandma's glasses in thin wire frames. When Winston and Rosie arrived, no one blocked the library door. Winston stuck his snout inside and breathed in the musty, dusty smell of books. The librarian jumped to her feet and stared. That grandma looked familiar. Okay, Rosie marched right up to her. I'd like you to meet Granny Winston, she said. She needs a library card so she can check out books, and she'll gladly read at story time. The children will love her tales. Winston nodded. I'll read to the children all day long if you would like. And so week after week, Granny Wilson read stories to the children. If anyone noticed the sharp white teeth, no one complained. And if at times the hem of Granny's skirt seemed to switch and sway, no one revealed the secret. Winston the Wolf, or Granny, so-called, never lost his taste for words. Words were always his favorite treat. A little note to the reader. If your story lady wears a long skirt and a floppy hat, she may be a wolf in disguise, a lover of words and a gobbler of books. Please be very kind for me. Love, Winston the Wolf. All right, so there was Winston learning to read. So in this story, we saw several fairy tale characters. And so what we're going to do next is I am going to hand out some locations and some different things that have to do with fairy tales. So here we have the candy house. I'll let you hold on to that one. Who wants the dark, deep hole? You want the hole there? All right. This is a goose that lays the golden egg. Think you know who that one goes to? Oh, what about the broken chair? You don't have one yet. Look at these happy guys. Who wants these? The 7 dwarfs? What about a beautiful glass slipper? You know that one? Who goes in a whale? And look at these 3 cute houses. You need that one, don't you? All righty. So I am going to put up here the storybook character that goes with some of those items that you just had. So let's see what you guys know. Let's start with this one. What that I just gave you guys goes with the 3 little piggies. What goes with the 3 little piggies? The big wolf would, right? But we didn't have a wolf. What else goes with the 3 little piggies? That's right, their homes. The straw one and the wooden one, and finally the brick one, right? All right. Next we have the beautiful Snow White. What goes with Snow White? She had a whole bunch of little friends that helped her. No, Snow White had 7 little friends. Sleepy, Dopey, Doc. This one over here. We might need to, there we go. Look at all of those little critters, those the little 7 dwarfs, Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. All right. What about this guy? This is Jack. And he climbed up the big beanstalk, and what did he find at the top? What did Jack find at the top? He found the big giant, and the giant had a pet what that laid something that was very valuable. Remember? He had the goose that laid the golden egg. If you ever find a gold egg, you'd be having lots of money, wouldn't you? All right. Now, one of my favorite stories, and it's sort of a weird story, really, but this little boy and girl named Hansel and Gretel, and they go in the woods and they find this beautiful candy house, and then there's a witch that tries to put them in the oven. I mean, it's just a terrible story, but when you think about it, but Hansel and Gretel, but they do escape, don't they? All right. What about this little guy? He's so fun. There's Pinocchio. What happened to Pinocchio in this story? Remember, he ran away from Geppetto, and then Do what? He did become alive, didn't he, at the very end? So that was very cool. But in the middle of the story, this big animal takes him and swallows him up, and he goes into the belly.
And he gets out.
Then he does finally get out, doesn't he? There he goes. He's in the belly of the whale. Yep. All right. Look at this beautiful princess. That is our Cinderella with her her glass slipper, right? Got a couple more. Now, you guys might not know this one. This is Alice. Alice in Wonderland.
I know.
And she follows a white rabbit who goes down a deep hole to Wonderland, where she meets all kinds of really cool and fascinating creatures. Go ahead and come put up the hole here. Yeah, she falls down that hole and she gets real little and then she gets real big, and it's just a magical adventure if you read Alice in Wonderland.
I saw this.
All right, and then this is Goldilocks. And Goldilocks also has 3 friends, and those 3 friends, we don't have a picture of the 3 bears, but the first thing that happens is she breaks the chair, doesn't she? All right, if you're not familiar with some of these stories, boys and girls, come to the library and check out a book and read some of these fairy tales. They're really fun. All right, Miss Kim's got another story for us.
All right. Tickly Octopus. He looks like a happy octopus, doesn't he?
Yep.
This is going to be a fun story.
You think so? It might be. There he is. Looks like he's tickling the star. I kind of thought it was going to be the other way around. Down in the ocean, among the swirling seaweed and the colorful coral, lived a tickly octopus. Maybe that smile is a mischievous smile. He had 8 twisty, twirly arms, and he loved to use them to tickle. When Octopus tickled the little fish, they jumped and jiggled and wriggled and giggled. They thought tickling was tons of fun.
Yeah, it's true.
And he could tickle a lot of them all at once, can't he? With 8 arms, my. But most of the creatures found his tickling tiresome. Octopus tickled Sea Star and made her squirm. "Stop it," she squeaked. Octopus tickled Clickety-Clackety Crab, and Crab tripped and tumbled into the sand. "Go away," he snapped. "But I'm a tickly octopus, and I'm really good at tickling," said Octopus sadly. And he swam off to tickle the wriggly-giggly fish again. One day, Octopus saw Oyster snoozing among the seashells. He couldn't resist giving her one teeny tiny tickle. Oh boy. But Oyster woke with a jump and dropped her precious pearl. Ping, bip, boing. It bounced over the rocks and was swept away by the current. "Oh no," gasped Octopus. Poor Oyster was very upset. "I'm sorry," said Octopus. "I'll get it back for you." I wonder if he'll be able to. Octopus raced through the water with a whoosh and a swoosh. "Whee," he said. "I never knew I could be so super speedy." There he goes, whoosh. You can see where the pearl went. Way down deep. Octopus followed the pearl as it tumbled to the bottom of the sea. "Wow," he said. "I never knew I could swim so deep." And lots of different looking creatures when you get that deep in the ocean.
Yeah, I can name the creatures.
Lots of different ones.
And if you go too deep down in the sea, you see some wild ones.
Yes.
A shark, an alligator,
Ooh.
a crocodile.
You might. At last, Octopus reached the pearl, but plink, plonk, plop.
Oh no.
Oyster's precious pearl bounced over the rocks and slipped through a small gap in the ocean floor. Oh dear, look at Octopus trying to get to it. Octopus squished and squashed and heaved and squeezed and managed to push his rubbery body through the gap. Ooh, he said, I never knew I could be so squishy.
You don't know that. You don't know Cinderella.
This book has a lot of descriptive words in it. Describes everything. There, glinting in the darkness, was the smooth and shiny pearl, but just behind it was a fierce eel.
What's an eel?
An eel. They're kind of snaky-like looking.
Oh,
Yikes! Squeaked Octopus. He quickly picked up the pearl and sped away. I'm kind of wondering how he's going to get that back up through that squishy little gap. Think he'll make it? Give me that pearl, roared the eel. Octopus huffed and puffed as the eel chased him. He'd swum such a long way and he was very tired. The eel was getting closer and closer.
I know eels, they sting you.
Mm.
They actually electric you.
Oh no.
With a spurt and a squirt, a belch and a squelch, Octopus sprayed a cloud of black ink. The eel couldn't see a thing. Did you remember that weapon that an octopus has? Yes. Oh my, said Octopus. I never knew I could be so inky. And he danced happily back to Oyster. So he did make it back up through the gap.
What is the pearl?
You see it right there in his hand, his arm. And the starfish and the clams all waiting up at the top. Oyster was delighted to get her pearl back. I promise I won't ever tickle you again, Octopus said. I've found a lot of other things I'm good at doing. From now on, I'm going to be a speedy, deep-sea, squishy, inky octopus. Wow. He can do lots of things, can't he?
That's like fun thing.
But I'll still be a little tickly, too. That must be his favorite thing to do, what do you think? It must be his very favorite. And there's everyone down in the sea. That was a cool story. I like that. He was kind of a fun-loving little octopus, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He had lots of fun. Well, there are all kinds of things we can be good at. Some people are better at some things than other people are. I mean, just think about that eel. Could he spray an inky black cloud? No, eels don't do that, do they? Just an octopus might. Well, we hope you enjoyed story time today. We trust you'll have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.